Good afternoon. Hey everyone, this is Bruce Marshall from Simpler Trading with the nightly market update for Wednesday, August the 28th. And we are coming out of the summer doldrums into some wild trading the last week or two. And it's kind of been spotty, low volume, that type thing, but we're getting some wild swings back and forth. So, we need to look and kind of figure out where we're going from here. And we'll start with the S&P and see what we've got. So today, another kind of crazy day. We came in this morning. There was a pretty crazy overnight move, and then we came in this morning positive, up about 9 points, dropped straight down out of the open, hit the 2850-ish level, and then we just ripped higher for about almost 40 points. Basically, up to that point, I guess. And it looked like it was going to be a strong day, and I guess overall it was. We had this rip higher, and then we kind of go into this kind of zombie, just real tight range, nothing happening kind of thing. It's almost like people, buy, and then they just walk away. And we've gotten a handful of days like that lately. But this is a treacherous market, to say the least, to try to figure out and trade. We're always looking for kind of the honey badger stock names. We'll look at some of those in just a second. But it's more important to follow what the indexes are doing. And if you go back out here, and let's go just to a 5-day chart here, you will see, some wild moves here. I mean, 29.39 to 28.34. What is it? 105 points down, and we're kind of starting to make our way back up. That's only 5 days. So if you go back here and go 10 days, you'll see even more crazy. 28.25 all the way up to 29.40. 115 points, up. And then, lastly, if you go to 20-day, you'll see we were at all-time high up here, almost all-time high. That's 20 days ago. We were at 3017, 195-point drop, down. And then we rip back up and sell off and rip up and sell off and rip up and chop and sell off. And so, where do we go from here? If you notice, we are, well, let me back it out a little bit more before I say that. So here's the longer term chart here, and it's easier to see. I talked about this last week's video, that we're getting this really kind of compression type trade here. I mean, we've been in this is back and forth, up and down, probably, 150 point range, kind of back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And again, the last time that happened was this, and we broke out really hard this way. I don't know which way we're going to break this time. And I talked about this last week. Of course, I would like for us to break to the upside. However, we're very close. There's a 200-day. This is the S&P. And then here are these levels here from these two previous points that we came down and touched. It would make sense that we come down here, kind of wash everybody out. Everybody sells right here, of course, right before we start ripping higher again. That would probably make the most sense in a textbook chart kind of method. But the market never does what everyone expects it to do. We could just do the opposite and and continue to go up here, and then at some point come back down and test some levels here. At this point, I'm not seeing the drop down here. I'm just not seeing it. It can happen, of course it can happen. I think there would have to be a little more of a catalyst for it. The one thing that is of importance to watch is the consumer and spending. We've had some real good numbers, like from Target, for example. I'll show you real quick. So if we look at Target, just nothing but straight up, right? Just, looks Awesome, right? Here's Costco straight up, so obviously people are spending money there. Amazon, not so much lately. In fact, that chart's starting to look a little tired. One other thing, we look at the IYT for the transports, kind of looks tired, right? Doesn't it just looks beat down, right? And we're coming back down to retest this level. Is that going to hold? I don't know. We hope, right? And lastly, we look at the rut, kind of same way rut small caps, and they are looking, more and more like they're trying to just continue to. They've been rolling over, roll over here, a slight bounce, and they're just rolling over again. They're back to the same level as well. Does that hold and we bounce? I don't know. So the backdrop, I'll try to give you guys a big picture. The backdrop is obviously everybody's worried about China, tariffs, all that kind of stuff. That just changes every couple of days, with tweets in China, and Trump going back and forth with China. We also had the Fed coming up. We've got payrolls next week. And, we'll have a lot of data coming in. We've already, the market is already assuming they're going to, that we're going to have a rate cut, or there will be a rate cut here. The Fed meeting is on September the 18th, so put that on your calendar. If it's already assumed, does the market react much? And I don't know. It might. So, we are once again in a very I would go as far as to say kind of treacherous place in the market, because we could break out this way easily on some good news, and we could just roll over on more weak data or bad news. And if we roll over, the best case scenario, or the most textbook kind of way it would work out, is if we came down here, probably this 200-day, and it held. And then we start working our way back up here. But again, that would make too much sense, because you would get all this erratic action with the market, so there's no way to tell. So the bottom line, what I've been doing lately, and I think I showed you guys the day of the Fed meeting, I went to cash right there, and I missed all this stuff. And I've been very, very, very light. This is just whipsaw back and forth action, just kind of like we had here. You can do day trade, kind of really, really short-term stuff, but just be careful. The one thing that I did do, I bought a little McDonald's here on Monday. You want to look for charts like this that just, this is just nothing but, nothing but net on the upside. When the market tanked, anything happened? Not really. It's a honey badger. Doesn't really care what the market's doing. That's what you want to look for. Something like that. Maybe something like Starbucks. Something like that. Look at this. CCI, Crown Castle. And again, Costco. So there are stocks out there that continue to do good regardless of the market. Try to focus on those. Try not to be as much as I like to buy the dip, it's kind of catching the falling knife right now. Just be very, very careful doing that until we get a little more clarity. And I don't honestly think we'll get clarity until, probably the Fed meeting. So, and then we got earnings coming up, middle of September too. So that might give us a little shot in the arm. But again, we're in some pretty uncharted or treacherous waters here. So be careful. And stay light. I'm trying to keep my positions down to, I've got 1 or 2 trades on. That's really about it, because you don't want to have a lot of trades on and try to manage it. If we do get in something like this, or or in more, we're kind of in a mini version of this right now. And don't get too crazy on trying to short this thing, because you get all gung-ho that this thing is going to go down here and it rips higher. That won't work either. So just be careful. So I hope this helps and makes some sense. I just want to give a big, broad overview. I don't really have any trade tips or ideas, because I'm not taking any right now. I'm very, very, very light, and I'm happy. So with that, I'll wind it up. Have a great rest of the day, and I'll see you guys at the next update that I do. Thanks.